coming to my head. No, it's not. It's dealing with all your organs because it has to bypass them through the bloodstream. Mm-hmm. So if you're putting something on your head, it's getting into your skin, the integumentary system. It's getting into your bloodstream. It's getting into your lymphatic system. It's getting into your cardiovascular system. It's dealing with everything. So can it cause cancer? Any kind of health thing? Yes. We don't live in a vacuum. Everything is interconnected. And once we understand that process, we will stop doing a lot of things that we do. Okay, I'm open for...
I've got two other quick questions.
Sure.
One of them is related to something that we were talking about. So I read something that was talking about frozen lemons. That said that there's a great amount of health benefits of take some lemons, wash them. They said they didn't say with detergent or anything, but just wash them, rinse them off, wipe them down, freeze them. And you can even almost like, I don't know if they said use a cheese grater, but you can like grate even with the peels, and put that on all kinds of food. You can put it on your vegetables. You can put it on any like rice or anything like that, like as a zest, right? But there was some extreme health benefits for that. That's one question. And two, since we were talking about diabetes and some other kidney stones and things of that sort, what about gout? I had a bout with gout 10 years ago or so. Yeah. Every now and then I get an ache in this joint in my hand, which is where I had. They never confirmed it because by the time I got back, I was on my way out of town for vacation. By the time I got back and saw the doctor, my blood work came back normal, but I wasn't symptomatic at that time. So they never confirmed it. But I changed my diet. I stopped eating. For me, I noticed red meat and red sauces were an issue. Okay, so what I started doing was I stopped eating as much red meat. I don't eat much at all anymore, and the red sauces I just have to limit, like marinara sauce or ketchup or barbecue sauce, anything like that. I noticed that was a trigger for me. No, gout.
Now, see, my family, my wife's family, all of me and her family suffer from gout, and their triggers were eating high-rich food, like such as steaks and crab legs and stuff like that. It would just set them off where they can't put a shoe on, and then they have a wonder pill that I guess not. Is gout really arthritis or?
No, gout isn't arthritis. Arthritis that we call these autoimmune diseases. Gout is in a similar category, and it's very prevalent, especially among people. And you all are saying the same thing that are linked. Gout is linked to our diets. See, we eat the way it's passed down to us. And we have a way of making it sound so complicated and so well educated. And we use Latin terms in our naming of illnesses and diseases. We either name them after ourselves, after the person who got it, or somebody who long dead, don't know what they're talking about. The reason I say that is when it comes to how we eat, it's passed down. And when you come to see people like myself, or depending on who the physician is, they don't look at nutrition. What they'll say is, this is hereditary. All African Americans are prone to high blood pressure. That's a lie. We've been taught that. All black people are prone to hypertension. That's a lie. What does it have to do with gout? See, when I was younger, you can probably relate to this. My mom, she'd make those Sunday meals and through the week meals. But whatever she cooked with, grease was not thrown away. It was put in that can on the stove.
Back of the stove.
That coffee can.
You see?
Cast iron.
But why did she do that? Because her mama did that. Right. Why did her mama do that? Because her mama did that. So that was passed down. So when you come see a physician in allopathic, they say, oh, it's genetic. That's not genetic. That's cultural. It's passed down. Tradition. I don't have high blood pressure because of my skin color. I got high blood pressure because of how I eat. And to debunk that, there's a physician, his name is Dr. Burkett, back in the 40s, went through Africa. And he began to do exams on all the African tribes from both ends of Ghana, Timbuktu, all of these African nations and all these various tribes and colonies and cultures. Not one had high blood pressure or diabetes. They said, well, why is that like that? What were they consuming? Contrary to Tarzan, contrary to what they teach you, what they taught us, and they've indoctrinated us with these lies, our people consume from the land. They ate mostly fruits, nuts, grains, very little flesh, very little. So didn't have those problems that caused them to have high blood pressure. But now it's changed because in all those countries and colonies that I mentioned, there's a Mickey D's, there's a Popeyes, and they're eating what we call the SAD diet, the standard American diet. Now they have in Africa high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, renal problems. So it's not genetic, it's cultural. So back to gout. Since we're eating that way because what's been passed down to us, then what's been passed down to us is bad lifestyles. And those lifestyles affect our health. So if we're used to eating, we can't eat greens without seasoning with what? Some kind of meat. The hog maw, the foot, the ankle, the head. So we got to season it with that. So we're putting fat. We're putting too much salt. We're eating all these chemicals which are causing our blood pressure to blow out of our ears. And we say because of our culture. It is, but those are lifestyle diseases that are based on choices. So by eating the high protein foods, your flesh foods, by consuming the high fat products, the high sodium products, the high glucose or sugar products, you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, you have diabetes, and you're going to have the gout, which is going to be a precursor to the flesh foods you're eating, the chemicals in the flesh, causing these uric acid, which are these small crystals that build up in your bloodstream, and they travel to your bloodstream, and they lodge in your fingers, your elbows, your joints, your toes. That's why gout flares up. But conventional medicine gives you gold salt, these drugs, to deal with that. It's not curing the problem. All it's doing is causing the swelling to go down and the pains to subside. But those uric crystals are still there in those joints. So how do you get rid of those crystals? First of all, decrease the consumption. What you just said, decrease the flesh food, see? And your body would try to cleanse itself. And what it's doing, what I say we're all doing here, is naturally detoxing itself. And I'm going to read some natural detox stuff, and not one of them involves a chemical. So your body starts to heal itself. If we let our body alone, it'll heal itself. But we interfere. And the way I try to illustrate to people is, listen, has anybody in here ever had or know someone who has a fever?
Yes, absolutely.
How do they treat the fever? How do they treat the child? How do they treat the fever? What do they do? Ibuprofen. But for kids, they used to give them what's called a Bayer aspirin. Those little pink things. They don't do that no more. Why? Because the Bayer aspirin was giving them a disease called Reye's syndrome. It was killing these kids. So now when we have a fever, you probably heard this, start with fever, fever cold. Why do they say that? When we have a fever, we try to lower the fever by giving a drug, ibuprofen. Why? The fever is your body's defense mechanism. It's sending all those white blood cells to say, hey, listen, we got an invading organism. Let's attack this thing. But we interfere. And by interfering, we give the drugs, and drugs come. If we would just let the fever do its thing, that fever would come. It's destroying those invading organisms. But we interfere with that. So we're interrupting the body's mechanism of healing itself. And then we say, well, if the fever is too high, we got to do A, B, and C. Yes, if the fever is over 103, 104, then you got to bring it down. But I didn't say use a drug. The old folks, they couldn't run to the doctor. They didn't have their insurance. They put that person in some cold water, or they put a cold towel on them, or they put them blankets on them, and it cools down the body, and that fever comes down naturally. We don't do that. We want the quick fix for everything. So I can take an ibuprofen because I got a fever. The fever is going to subside. It ain't going to deal with the cause, though. It's going to subside. And the ibuprofen causes my stomach to bleed. So now I got a fever and a bleeding stomach.
What about the now, this actually worked. My mother did this. This worked. The alcohol and the bends your elbows, behind your ears, and behind your knees.
And even those places that you mentioned, these are these locations that are close to what we call these arterial vessels, blood vessels.
Sure.
And when the alcohol, and one of the many properties
Yes.
One of the many properties of alcohol, it has what we call, putting in layman's term, a drawing effect.
Right.
And we say it more technically, it can cause dehydration.
Right.
Put alcohol, it dehydrates in. So it's pulling out that bacteria for it. That's what it's doing. And you're putting it in those locations that are close to the large, we call the innominate blood vessels. So you're putting in those areas and it pulls it out. That's what it's doing.
Okay.
That's why, and it's simple stuff. It ain't we got to take this drug.
But there's no danger in doing that, is it? Okay. I didn't think it was because my wife she'll like rub my kids down with it. I said, well, we don't have to necessarily rub them down. I said, but let's put it in these spots, and it'll have the same effect.
Exactly. In fact, those same areas is where we come to meet. I'm gonna check your pulse there. It's called a tympanic blood temperature. It goes in here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check your pulse down in the radar. I'm gonna check your break. I'm gonna check it right here. It's called this inguinal. This we put the alcohol. They'll do the same thing.
Okay.
So we're using techniques that are centuries old, but because they're so simple, I got to give it the technical name. So we're gonna put a particular process. We're gonna give you this pass to put it here. It absorbs the tissues here. It permeates the skin, and it's gonna release these hormones that are gonna cause the pituitary gland to shrink. Man, I'm talking nonsense, but it sounds good. So the idea is the simple remedies are the most effective. So back what we touched on, the body can detox itself. I'm going to read some. These are 10 foods to detox. So people are really into detox today. How do I want to get all these toxins? And I'm going to leave this with you guys. I'm going to take all these chemicals. I said, doctor, I want to detox. And the first thing I say is, why do you want to detox? Well, they say I should detox. Okay. First of all, who are they? And then secondly, what is detox? Oh, it cleans my body. I know I've been eating wrong. I need to clean myself. I need either an enema,
right.
or like Eddie Murphy say, I need a colonic.
Colonic.
I need to have my colon cleansed.
Right.
Colon blow.
Brother, you was eating right, and anyway. So these are some. They're asking, what can I take? I can write nothing for you. What can I take to detox? Okay, detox. What does detox mean? To detox is simple word. Detox, remove toxins. Your body builds up toxins. How does my body get toxins? Wrong food, chemicals that you breathe, chemicals you put on your body, it's your system, wrong foods and drugs.
Chemical in the water.
Drinking. So you need to detox, which means remove it. So to remove it, I need a drug, a powder, a pill, or a tea, or some kind of mechanism to go up the left end and come out the right. No, you don't, bro. You can detox by eating right. What? And do you know the simplest way to remove toxins from your body is what the folks who go to church do quite frequently? You know what it's called?
Shout.
Well, after you detox, you should shout.
Church joke.
Fasting,
yeah. I'm glad you said
fasting. When you stop consuming foods, your body is beginning a detoxing process. Because if you're not putting the nutrients in, especially the bad stuff, what you're going to do, it's going to start pulling the food stores from its own fat. Once that's depleted, it starts to excrete that waste.
Wow.
Fasting. Wow. But let me touch this out because I get it. I offend people, and it's not my intention. When they say, I'm going to fast for 2 days. Well, actually, you don't fast for 2 days. You can't tell me I fast for 2 days. I'm going to fast for 3 days. Then actually you're fasting for 1 day. What does that mean? Brother, when you eat, if I eat something right now, it's not going to come out until 5 hours later. So if I say I'm going to fast today, I still got food in my system. My body's put on that same food. It's still there. Now wait 48 hours afterwards, then your gut's clean, fasting starts. We get that confused. So back to what can you use to detox? These are simple things. It says here, when it comes to detoxing your body, there are many techniques you can follow and supplements you can take. But the best way is to eat lots of foods that detox the body. This is a list of foods that detox your body. I'm going to leave this with you all. Anybody can do it. You'd be amazed what the number one way to detox besides fasting is. I just gave you a little history about that. You take this to keep the doctor away. An apple. See? Fruits are extremely high in liquid content, helping the body wash out toxins. They're also very easy to digest and are high in antioxidants, nutrients, fiber, and many important vitamins like vitamin C. Brother, did you know that when you eat an apple that you're brushing your teeth at the same time? Because it has in the fibrous labor called pectin, and that's brushing your teeth. Think about it now. Back in the days of Pharaoh and, let's see, some of the famous people of history, they didn't have Colgate. They didn't have chloride. They didn't even have Listerine. So how did they have? They was all walking around with bad breath and had cavities. Not true. Prove that. Have you ever watched some of those documentaries on TV and they show the ancient, they dig up all these skulls?
Still got the teeth.
Still got the teeth.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because they were eating the proper foods and they wasn't putting the bad stuff in like we do with our standard American diet. So apples will help brush your teeth. It has fiber. And the problem is we don't eat the entire apple. We've been indoctrinated to eat maybe the pectin, the flesh part that's red or green or whatever type of apple you have. We eat the flesh, but the core, we throw that away.
You know what, Doc? When on that tip, I've learned to eat an apple different. I don't eat it from the sides anymore. I eat it straight on, and you won't taste the core. It won't nothing. You may catch the seed. You can end up eating the seed. You don't even realize you eat.
And the seeds are good.
You can have nothing left but the stem.
The seeds are good.
You eat it meat side first. You like run to the core and stop. Yeah, but you go straight in.
And that from the bottom. And you can eat that in its entirety. You may want to pull the stem out, the entire thing, because there are certain herbs and natural remedies that you use from the seeds that can heal. And that's what they're designed for. So the apple is just, I'm not going to go through all of these. You can eat like the green foods. For instance, you talk about things like spinach, kale, arugula.
Yes, arugula's good. Oh my
Those,
goodness.
just by eating it, now there's a little side note I got to tell you. By eating these vegetables and fruits, that means eating them as they are. Now, how many of us can actually eat? Right, we hook it up. See, now, I know I like my salad. Ooh, salads are good, man, nutritious, fiber, woo, all that chlorophyll, man, that's good. But I can't eat it raw. I got to put my 1,000 Island on there, my ranch, my Italian.
Raspberry vinaigrette.
I got to put all that stuff. And when I'm doing that, I'm adding fat, I'm adding sugar, I'm adding salt, not to mention the additives and food dyes.
Right.
So now you just killed a good thing. I eat salads. I can't lose no weight because you're adding fat to the greens. That's why. But give me a powder. What pill can I take? I give you a pill. What's it called? Green lettuce, nothing on it. And not only you're eating fiber, but as the fiber goes down into your gut, you know what it's doing to your intestinal system? Oh, by the way, your intestinal tract from your mouth to the anus is 30 feet long. That's a long journey. So when it's cleaning it like a brush. But when you don't have fiber, it goes in and it comes out without taking any of the nutrients from it. That's why many of us have diarrhea, you see, and then we take a chemical because the water is still there. The water is not absorbed. The water is absorbed in the bottom part of your intestine, the large and colon. That's where it's absorbed. So when you have a bowel movement, it should be formed and solid. Right. It shouldn't be like those periods at the end of a sentence. That's a problem. And it shouldn't look like without being vulgar, it shouldn't look like soup. That's telling you, your body is telling you it's lacking something.
Ice cream.
Yeah, it shouldn't look like ice cream or tofu, Lord have mercy, or other stuff, yogurt. So when you eat your green vegetables, you're getting fiber, and that'll help to detox you. How about we talked about lemons, oranges, and lime. Did you know by eating them, you can go on a lemon diet or an orange diet, just eat, I'm not talking about forever, say all this week, I'm just going to eat fruit, no meat, no sugar, no candy, no cookies, no cakes. Just eat fruit Monday through Friday. You detox your body. And you'll see the difference when you pee, when you boop. It'll be just... Oh, by the way, with speaking tactfully, have you ever been someplace and someone has had flatulence?
Me right now.
You know,
I wasn't gonna say nothing, man.
I just said
for our listeners who are not familiar with the term flatulent, that means gas. When a person has just ripped one.
A booty laugh.
One has just ripped one that's raw that will peel paint off a wall.
But
the reason it smells so horrible is because of the buildup of fermentation that which you consume has been in your intestinal tract for some time, is fermented, is putrefied, is rotten. That's why it smells so horrible. But when you're eating properly, your BM should not smell horrible. That's a fact. It should not. But when you're eating a lot of junk food, processed food, refined food, sugar cakes, junk, that's why it smells horrible. Oh, by the way, by consuming flesh foods, only flesh food, if I were to have a hamburger right now, that hamburger would be in my intestinal tract for 7 days. 7 days.
Let me ask you what sounds like, what could sound like a stupid question, but
there's no such thing as a stupid question.
Are you considering fish to be flesh food?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything with eyes, a mouth, and has a mother.
Okay.
Flesh foods. So the diet should be consumed of fruits, nuts, grains, vegetables. So now we're just talking about the things that will detox the body. I haven't said anything about an herb or a tea. These are just fruits and vegetables. For instance, garlic. Garlic, besides running you out of the room when you talk, lowers your blood pressure, is antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. It'll cure stuff.
And it's got a wonderful flavor too.
A wonderful flavor and aroma.
I'm not big on garlic. I've always wanted to, but I just...
Well, if you can't consume the garlic, you can get garlic capsules.
Okay.
And swallow them, and it'll detox your body. The same thing. And it will help cure a lot of intestinal problems. Garlic will do that. And you don't need a prescription of this stuff. If you would just go out and get a good salad, you can knock all these detox stuff out every day. What kind of powder can I take? Get you a salad, bro. How's that detox when you got fiber, which is cleaning your system out? You're getting your nutrients, everybody in your body needs, and you're getting rid of stuff that's been in your system for over 7 days, man. That's why it smells so horrible. And for us as African-American people, when we look at the acne that we have and the blackheads and bumps and all that stuff, that's your body trying to excrete waste. Right. And it comes out through your pores, through your hair, through your rear end, comes out here. Your body's trying to get rid of it. But we do something which I think is horrible, but it's crazy. Some women like to do this stuff. You press your nose, and what do you get coming out those pores? That white stuff, what is all that stuff? That's toxin and junk in your body. Grease, oil, fat, waste. That's inside your pores. So your body's saying, get this out of me. But the reason it can't come out because we put on what? Our lotions, all of our creams,
you block
it. And we makeup, and we block it.
Yeah.
And after a while, that stuff builds up, and we got bump. And for my brothers, us who shave, the reason why we come out with razor bumps is not because of that blade. And we say, I got sensitive skin. Yeah, we do got sensitive skin. But your diet determines whether you bump or not. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Now, I remember when I was coming, they had this thing, what was it called? You couldn't, my skin is so sensitive, brother, I can't use no razor. So I'm going to get that
Magic Shave.
Stuff smell like dead bulls after 7 days in the wilderness. But that stuff is toxic.
Funky stuff.
It's toxic. That will kill you. Remember, if anything is exfoliating you, is destroying hair follicle, which means hair cells, which is made up your cell, which means it destroys those pores too. You're on the verge. I do a program that talks about toxic anti-perspiration, anti-deodorants that cause cancer. We kill our cell with soap on our body. Men too. So be careful with that. I came from a place when guys who were heavily into the resistance would make their own explosives using magic shade. Now, I'm not going to give you the formula for that in case you were a terrorist. Right. But they used to use that to make explosives and still can. That's why they tell you some stuff on the side that can. That stuff is toxic. So by eating these few things can detox. Let me go on real quickly. You got broccoli, mung beans, your nuts and seeds, and your avocados. You all can have that. These are just simple things that will detox you.
Now,
simple things.
Is broccoli and cauliflower and lettuce, iceberg lettuce, like man-made? I don't, because I've heard that, especially broccoli and carrots.
Well, you're touching on a good subject. First of all, they're not originally man-made, but now they can be. Okay. Now, with due respect, if you go on and type in fake food, you'd be amazed what you'll see. Especially, I think my brother mentioned everybody when you go to the some of the Asian restaurants. You're not getting real rice. You know about that? The plastic rice?
Yeah, I heard
the same thing. There's plastic eggs, plastic cabbage.
Plastic eggs? Plastic
egg. You can Google it right now, and they'll show they make they look like eggs. They fold, they handle like eggs, but they're not. They didn't come out of a chicken.
Yeah, I saw a video. It was a woman with she had some lettuce and she
making the oil. Yeah, it's not real. It's not real. So that's man-made.
How does our body break that down?
It does not. In fact, if you go on the web and you Google top ramen, you're going to see a film. It was here, it made the news a couple of months back, where this doctor invented a little small microchip that you swallow. It's like a little capsule, and it showed what happens in the stomach on the process of digestion. So they had these patients to consume top ramen noodles, and they saw as it was being broken down, those noodles don't break down. And they showed them how that plastic in the body, it doesn't break down. It stays there. And if it stays there, which means if it stays there, it's going plastic. Plastic can be around until the next millennium. You know that, don't you?
Right.
It doesn't decompose. It's just there. So if it's there, it can cause some problems, or you got to get it out. That's where your detox comes in. And what will move it out? You don't have to have surgery. You eat your fibrous foods, your greens, your broccoli, and they will pull it out. It'll grab that mess, and you'll boop it out. You don't need a chemical. Now, you can go get an enema. That will work, but, it's easy just to eat the right foods. And you're naturally detox. And that's, I'm not going to say it's free, but it's not depending on the prescription. And these are things that have been around since the beginning of time.
I got another home remedy that I did that I know works.
Sure.
Earaches. If you use vinegar, a teaspoon of vinegar and a teaspoon of peroxide, and drop it in the ear and put a cotton ball in there and just let it sit, it'll cure earaches.
And that's along the same category of witch hazel. But there's another one that you can use that will do the same thing that costs about maybe, I don't know, less than $1, that cures an earache, ear infection. Even if you got a little bug that crawls in your ear.
Is it?
Sweet oil is one, but this is something that you can eat. You know what it is. You all know what it is. An onion. You take an onion, you slice it, place it right over the ear. It will cure an ear infection, earache, and there's any bug in there, he coming up out of there. Onion. Onion. So an onion. You put it there.
I'd rather stick with the peroxide and vinegar.
It'll take it out.
So you eat an onion.
A fresh onion. You cut it. And put it in. And I don't mean the onion that you don't sauteed it. Now that's another animal right there.
Put it on your ear. Okay.
The onion on your feet thing. Does that?
Yes, the onion on your feet and garlic on your feet. Yes, that works. It sounds something out of science fiction. Is it red onion or does it either kind? Doesn't matter.
I always wanted to try that, but never.
It's the properties that are in the onion that has the same drawing effect. It acts like a diuretic, like alcohol, and it pulls it out.
Did that and it was like
yes.
Black. Like she put a sock on or something like
that.
And it was whatever was next to it, or I think maybe it was she bought one of those products that was like a patch or something to put on her feet, and it was in the morning it was black.
You have to be careful because a lot of the products you purchase, you don't know what's in them.
Right.
You can put onions in the feet, garlic on the feet. You can use cayenne pepper. You can get a cloth, a towel, put some olive oil on it, get some cayenne pepper on it so that it sticks to the olive oil, and you wrap it around the foot, wrap it up. That cures if you got any kind of pain that does it. It'll draw out any toxin in the body, but you can't leave it there all the time, maybe for an hour, if that long, because it's going to build up heat, and it pulls out stuff. The reason many people don't use it because if you use it too long or the wrong way, it can cause a problem. It can actually cause the skin to blister. So you have to be aware. So be careful about buying ready-made products. Read the ingredients because it'll put some stuff in your system. So without any further ado, I'd like to read some of this real briefly. It's amazing how time flies when you're having fun. It says here, these are the top 10. I'm going to leave this all information with you all. It's called the top 10 additives that you want to avoid. Now, how many of you all eat cereal?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Now, I'm not going to ask you the name brand because we all grown men up here. We all grown men. None of us should be eating Fruit Loops and Captain Crunch.
My daddy, 81 years old.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
John.
No, man.
These
are Cheerios Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran. Okay, why am I talking about that? Because if you turn the side of your box, most boxes have 3 or 6 letters on there. They're going to be BHA or BHT. What in the world is that? They're just not telling you the alphabet. They're telling you what's in those cereals to preserve it, keep it from going bad, and to keep critters from attacking it. When you buy your cereal, you want to be a reader. Buy anything, be a reader. A simple rule of thumb is if you can't pronunciate it, leave it alone. If you can't say it, leave it alone. And even if you can say it, leave it alone. I'll give you an example. These are some things you want to avoid. These are additives. One is called BHA and BHT. This is used as a preservative in potato chips, gum, cereal, frozen sausages, enriched rice, lard, shortening, candy, and cereals. This common preservative keeps food from changing color, changing flavor, or becoming rancid, which means it becomes old, smells bad, rotten. But this is what it does. It affects the neurological system of the brain, alters behavior, and has potential to cause cancer. BHA and BHT are oxidants which form cancer-causing reactive compounds in your body. It's the long-term BHAs, butylene hydroxyl anisole. That's BHA. BHT, butylene hydroxyl toluene, toxic. That's in your cereals. Unless it says, let me tell you something. I'm going to get and have a little fun with this. One of the minerals your body needs is iron. You know that, don't you?
Right.
You ever ate some iron?
No.
It got kind of quiet for a while. They had to think about that. No, I just said iron.
But I had to take iron pills when I was a kid, though.
Mm-hmm.
And
now, the body needs iron. It's crucial for blood development, red blood cells, and hemoglobin. It's women need it. It's crucial. Got to have iron. That's why you watch a commercial or watch your cereal. It'll say this cereal is fortified with iron.
Yeah, iron.
Where does iron come from? When I tell you, be amazed.
Oh.
There's two types of iron. One is called heme iron and non-heme. What does that mean? Fancy term? You trying to impress us? No. Iron is found in the ground. It's an ore you dig up. It's a mineral. But the iron that's in your cereal comes from discarded cars that are shredded.
God, no way, man.
Oh, you making that up, man. Prove that. I tell you what, for any of you all who have cereal, now listen now, you don't take my word for it. Any of you all have cereal at home, or Google this, cereal at home. Anybody got any cereal at home, any kind of flake or something? You said Raisin Bran?
Raisin Bran.
Don't take the No. That's another. I'm gonna talk about them next. Any of your brands, your flakes, take 1 or 2 flakes, get a bowl, put some water in it, get you a magnet, put that magnet in front of that flake, and move it. That flake's gonna follow the magnet.
Man, listen.
That's iron.
Excuse me, time out. Baby,
I'm not making this up, bro. I'm not making this up.
I know you listening, babe. When I come home, I know trash ran today, but I'm gonna need that dumpster full today, and I'll call him back.
That's right.
Because I'm not doing that, and I'm already busting them back.
Well,
okay, now he can freak this out.
Well, let me give you.
And that box of romaine noodles we trying to hold the kids over from. You can go on and pitch that too, player.
Well, let me give you a little relief here. Now, the human body needs iron, but it only uses the iron in the form that it can actually break down and metabolize. It's called heme iron. Then you have what's called non-heme iron, which is that the body does not break down, and that comes from inorganic sources. Please, by all means, Google this, and you will see. They will show the actual experiments, but don't take what you see. Heme, Heme. But please Google it, or if you don't want to, because people can, alter the film. If you got any kind of flake at home, cornflake, whatever brand, and it says on the side the iron, do that experiment. But you have to have a strong magnet. Any magnet you got, put one of them flakes in a bowl, in some water, put the magnet, and watch what it does. Now, some of your Cheerios will do the same thing. That iron, that's...
And baby,
got multi-grain Cheerios.
That iron,
I got
that iron that's in there, they didn't dig that up. It comes from the discarded vehicles that are shredded. They do not waste anything. Please don't take my word. Google it for yourself. And you will see there's an excellent, in fact, some of you got smartphone, you can look it up while you're up in there. And you will see the young brother will show you. I'm sorry?
Twin right next to, he always looking stuff up while we're in the studio.
Please look it up. You will see. They will show you. They will show you. In fact, there's another one you can do. If you want to get really gross, you can take a whole box of cereal that says it's fortified with iron, put it in a blender, put some about 2 or 3 cups of water in there to cover it, and blend it, becomes a mush. Put that mush into a plastic bag. Get you a magnet and look at the bottom. All the iron is going to gravitate to the back, and it's going to be actual iron, real iron. Now, why would they put that in your food? That's a whole other conspiracy theory. This is not the X-Files. Don't take my word for it.
I got a couple people listening that's sending me messages.
I kind of expected that.
Michelle Lennox up in Minnesota. She in her cabinet looking at all her cereal right now.
You might as well go ahead and throw it.
Okay, Michelle, I am not advocating you to discard or dispose of your food, because don't do that. But the idea is for you to be educated about what you are consuming. The human body does need iron. Yes, it does, but it has to have the right iron. Without the right iron, you can have a lot of problems with anemia and so forth, and
so
blood
what
values.
has the heme iron in it?
Good question. Good question. Do you know back in the day, and even in this day, when most people would say that I went to the doctor, honey, and he said I had low blood. What does that mean? He's saying the person is anemic. Right. I'm always cold. You got low blood. Does that mean your quantity of blood is low? No. What they're saying is the nutrients, the minerals, which because the blood cells are made in your bone marrow, right. And when you produce the RBCs, your red blood cell, they have these minerals attached to them, iron and so forth. And when you have enough in there, that's why you don't get cold. But when you have a decreased number of that correct iron mineral attached to that, you're prone to being cold. So that's why they fortify your foods with iron. Where do you get iron from? That's not made from your old broke down Toyota. When I was coming up, my mom would tell me this. Well, she wasn't talking to me. She was talking to my sisters, especially women who are on their menstrual cycle. And the doctor would say, well, if you got all this pain because your uterus is cramping, you take some Pamprin. That's a chemical drug. But there's another way another food that you can take that will help build up your blood where you can get your iron naturally. You probably like it or don't like it. You know what it's called? Beets. Beets.
Beets a bad boy.
Beets increase the iron production.
Yeah,
beets.
Bad boy.
Beets or grape juice.
There we go.
The real deal. I ain't
my
talking about that.
She,
right.
She gets cold a lot, so she drinks a lot.
Increase that everything that's going to produce red blood cells that helps with the temperature production and correction. Yeah. So real. And I ain't talking about that grape juice that similar to Sunny D and Cousin E. That's not real. You want 100% grape juice. Now the stores on the. My wife and I, we go through this round and round. Honey, I'm gonna buy some juice. It say 100%. Honey, turn around, and the little side on the panel it said 10% juice. Right. Then what's the other percent of it? They tell you it's high fructose corn syrup, food coloring, dye, and water. What you want? It's got to say 100% fruit juice and not GMO. Hey. No sugar. Please, that will help the increase. Yes,
Dr. Lawrence.
Yes,
you have created some sad faces in the studio, some sad faces in the commentary.
Well, let me give you some smiles.
So wait, no, I'm gonna keep you going. I'm gonna keep you going.
I'm gonna leave you hanging.
I want you to if you get a chance, I know you talked about when people get ailments, and so they have like these different doctors, like Dr. Seavey and a couple of different people, that had cures that they found worked for different types of ailments, cancers and whatnot, and you kind of said that you always knew that there was a cure to everything.
Yes,
it's just a matter of how much money they want to make on it. So I know you're finishing up on this, but I'm gonna let you go there. But I just wanted to throw that out there too. Oh, we got time. We got time, man. Okay. We all right. We all right.
Okay. Yeah. There, as my brother mentioned, he dropped the name. Unfortunately, Dr. Seavey, he's no longer with us.
Yeah, he killed him.
I'm glad you said it because that's a fact. It did. He was taken out, and the reason he was taken out, I don't do the conspiracy thing, but he was just saying it as it was. There are cures that they don't want you to know. So, for those who are being depressed, stressed, or about to throw their food away, don't do that. Become educated. Once you become educated, and as I say, become educated, you become emancipated, which means you can free your mind, free your body, and you can free up your cost that you're paying these folks to give you stuff that's killing you. So the idea is that you need to know what your body needs, what it doesn't need. You know what you are eating. Trust. Let me say this the right way. Don't trust what you read and see. Know what you read and see. If you can't pronunciate it, leave it alone. We all of us who have smartphones, you can download. Is that my sister coming back? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm glad she's back. I hope she ain't got no.
She heard something that brought her back.
Okay. So read and Google these apps that tell you what's in your foods. I'm going to go through a list of stuff that you need to avoid. Please don't leave with a hung face that you got to throw out your cabinet food and stop eating. No, just be educated, know what you're eating. And if that's all you got, go for it. We're going to talk about some things you can do to help detox your body naturally. Remember now, you got to eat to live. You got to, but you shouldn't just live to eat. It's a big difference. Like they say, we all going to die of something. That don't mean you got to die of everything. Come on now. Why would you do that? So I'm not going to leave you all hanging out there. Well, he don't told us the bad stuff. Is there anything good? I was talking to one person, man, all I want to do is drink water and breathe air. I say, well, you're going to be a hydrated food dead. So it doesn't work like that. You got to eat. Know what to eat. See, most of us eat not by nutritional value. We eat by what the advertisers tell us. Every kid knows that. Everybody has some sugar smacks. We all like donuts, but actually what's in the donut? I don't know. Who doesn't like Krispy Kreme? But why do we like Krispy Kreme? It's not because of the refined sugar and flour. It's because of the number one poison that's on it. And I said it right. The number one poison. What's the poison? Sugar. Oh, he done lost his mind. He's sweet in the head. No, I'm not. But I'm going to give you some history of what sugar is. Oh, by the way, sugar was one of the major commodities that was dealing in our slave history. It wasn't just cotton and tobacco. It was sugar too.
Right.
So we're consuming a poison. In fact, the term diabetes didn't even exist until the issue with sugar came about. And that was brought by a European, Lord have mercy, a European who coined the term. But he realized that it was coined because it was a major product from the islands. If anybody from the islands, you will know one of our products was sugar, the cane. But you'll be amazed how the CNA, did I just drop a name? Yep. The CNA sugar come in the pink and white box, how it's produced, how they get the cane. Actually, average individual, how do you get cane? You go to the store and buy it. Okay, but how did they get here? It came on a truck. Okay, what did they get? How did it get on the truck? Somebody had to cut it down. So sugar was cut down. It doesn't come in a box. Sugar grows in a field, in the cane, a stalk, and they strip it. They have to produce it. They have to bleach it. And when they filter to the bones of cows. It's called a bone filter. You didn't know that. So those who claim to be vegans and vegetarians were used eating meat. So the idea, so sugar is a poison, but that's another program.
Why, it's a big fat vegan.
Those of you who have food at home, don't throw it away. Learn what you're eating. Become educated. And the more information you have, the more healthier you are. And it doesn't cost anything. What does stupidity cost? Everything. But what does knowledge cost? Knowledge is free. So what I'm sharing with you now is just information, and I didn't make it up. It's been around before I was on this planet, and it's available for you too. That means changing your lifestyle. It means changing some habit. But we know it's hard to break habits. But you don't have to break them all in one day. You do a little at a time. I would never tell anybody to throw your medicine away. I would never tell anybody to empty your refrigerator. I would never suggest anybody do anything, but what I would suggest is be aware of what you got in your house, what you're putting it in, and what you're doing to you. Now, if that's all you got, more power to you. But learn how to help your body to help itself. That's why the good Lord gave us an innie and an outie. What are you talking about? He gave you a mouth to put food in, a butt for you to get it out of. But see, the problem is we clog it up.
Belly button.
So we got to stop doing that stuff, beloved. Come on now. So put the good stuff in your mouth and take the bad stuff out. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I just got to be real and raw.
Doc, they down here sneaking. They down here sneaking drinks out of these old these bad plastic bottles. They stepping back when you look away. If you just look to your left real quick.
I know. I don't want to get hit in the eye, but I remember I was giving a lecture at a church one time, and I was talking about the evils of chewing gum. They said, but you can tell that chewing gum is demon-possessed. I would never suggest such thing, but I'm telling you, you know what you're chewing and what's actually in that chewing gum. Mm-hmm. And as I was talking, the pastor would swallow his gum.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Now you got intestinal problems. You don't put that in your gut. And when they try to come out the other thing, when you have flatulence, you're gonna blow a bubble, brother. And I ain't trying to. It don't mean it's double bubble either. Anyway, I'm just being real and raw. So, beloved, before I enjoy my time here.
We got extra time.
I don't know why you said that. So let me give this information. I'm going to leave the information here at the station. You guys can disseminate how you want. I'm going to tell you a couple of things, and I know I've said some things that are frightening, but I don't want you to leave hungry, mad, and just downright, disgusted. But I want you to be educated and alert and aware, and to be thinkers. A wise person said, you see, our Creator doesn't want us to be reflectors of other men's thoughts. Don't just repeat what I said, but He wants you to be a thinker. Understand why you're doing what you're doing. Then you can become somebody who's quite intelligent. Now, some things you want to avoid is like food dyes. Now, a lot of the food colors you see, they're toxic, they're carcinogen. Did you know in Europe that you can't even buy red dye number 40 on your food? Anybody ever eaten a peppermint?
Mm-hmm. All our church life.
Yeah.
$1 billion black business.
What makes it red?
Peppermint in the pickle.
What makes it red? Probably a ladybug smashed up.
Well, that's the cochineal beetle.
Oh.
It's called red dye number 40. When you buy orange drink, orange soda, grape juice, it has never seen a grape. There's not one cherry in cherry Coke, but you're getting a chemical. Those are toxic dyes. Let me read this to you.
Didn't the guy tell you that, right?
Yeah,
They are.
yeah,
Even when you buy, beloved, did you know, or you were, I know some of your news blasts, did you know in the Olympics, or even most of your sports, whenever you, especially the Super Bowl and so forth, they would always show you a commercial promoting one major fluid to drink. What was that?
Gatorade.
Have you seen them lately?
Sure
Wow,
have.
they got sued.
Oh,
Gatorade,
really?
yes.
Sure haven't seen it.
Gatorade was made illegal, especially during the Olympics, because they said what was in the, not just the chemical was giving them a boost, but it was causing problems. So that's why you very rarely see a Gatorade commercial, because they got sued. Just like another product, I'm going to finish this diet. I'm going to give you another product. I know you all going to want me to leave after this, because when I say it, is the door open?
No, yeah.
Could you crack that door so I'm making a quick dash?
Don't do that.
All right. Okay,
Just
so
leave
let me
my
read
chicken
this.
alone.
The food dyes, please, whatever you eat, bag, bottle, read the ingredient. If you see any of these, blue number 1, red, yellow, red 6, red 40, leave it alone. Why? You ever eaten fruit cocktail? Remember that in can fruit, that little red maraschino cherry?
Yeah.
Please. Listen, fruit cocktail, maraschino cherries, cherry pink, ice cream, candy, bakery products, American cheese, which is not real cheese, call it cheese product, macaroni and cheese. They all contain artificial colorings, which may contribute to behavioral problems like ADD,
Oh, man. God.
ADHD in children, and lead to a significant reaction or reduction in IQ. I was a participant in the study we did in Don't throw your food away, brother. Don't throw your food away.
Some boo.
We did.
No wonder my kid crazy. A Pop-Tart that made my baby crazy. God, no.
Beloved, you know something? There is I'm glad you cracked that door. Okay, you see, there was a study that I participated in. Did you know in the penal system, they decided to restrict the use of sugar from the inmates for about a month? Did you know the violent assaults reduced? There were very few, if any, sexual assaults. The individuals who were attending the class to obtain their GED, their IQs increased, all from the reduction in use of sugar.
Wow.
And they recognized it was what the sugar was doing to the brain. So it comes to these food dyes, too. They do the same thing to kids. That's why nowadays you don't see as many commercials that are geared toward kids. Now, there are some popular, when I was coming up, there was a popular commercial, even before they had, on my day, they had black and white TVs. No, I'm not that old. Okay. So they had black and white TVs. And the number one drink for us folks who were not poor, but us who were po, was what?
Kool-Aid.
Yes, Kool-Aid.
I make
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid
Kool-Aid
for
didn't
my
have
family.
not one fruit in it. Didn't even see an apple, orange, peach, or pineapple. It was all chemicals. And the myth that was going around was based on truth and error. Kool-Aid and gelatin was made from the residue of ground up bones, eyes, animal tissue, beef, pork, and fowl from
And
the
horse.
slaughterhouse.
And horse.
horses. Was that true? Yes.
Golly.
Hey,
You know what I
gelatin.
know? You know
Hey,
what I
Doc.
noticed?
Whenever you read
I heard about
Dr.
that.
Lawrence,
you need to know, yes.
you were on the dies, and so I'm gonna run out the room before you, because I remember I told you about the guy that I met that worked at the dye factory.
Yes.
That morning he was
Yes.
just breaking, and the dye factory is right here,
Right in St.
in
Louis.
St. Louis.
Yes.
I mean for the world, like they
let
are
me-
the major producer of dyes for the whole world.
Yes, they
So
are.
I'm finna run to the door because I know I'm finna get punched for this one,
Well-
and I'm gonna beat you to it. But remember when I was telling you how the guy said when you look at the meats. And people don't know that the
Yep.
meats have. Okay, you go ahead and tell them. I'm going to go to the door.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing is that when we consume those products, whether they have the food colorants in it, remember now, if you're like you just mentioned the Pop-Tarts. Now, the Pop-Tart is the pastry, and the Pop-Tart professes to have nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and they tell you like strawberry Pop-Tart, chocolate Pop-Tart, multi, all that. Okay, there's not a bit of chocolate in there. There's not one fruit that even came close to a tart. So what is it? These are chemicals that are made in the laboratory, and they have similar. They call these pitch, these dyes, these lakes that taste similar to the real thing, but it's not. And some of those lakes, one particularly is red dye number 40. If you Google that, they will tell you in Europe to this day, they have a commission that says if you even put red dye 40 in something, you will get prison time because they know it's a carcinogen. But we over in the U.S. of A, in America, we kill ourselves all for the sake of the mighty dollar. So read your ingredient. If it had those food dyes, why are they there? So, brother, does that mean that anything that has a color is made from a chemical? Not necessarily. But it should tell you, if you're drinking orange juice, it should have what in it? Oranges. Okay, if you're drinking grape juice, it should have grapes in it. Now, if you go buy a grape knee-high, or you go buy you some Gatorade,
bad boy, though.
Gator needs some aid. You see, you're getting a chemical. They say because athletes work out and they lose all the electrolytes, they sweat.
Right.
Yes, they're losing sodium. So we're going to put the sodium back. That makes sense. Let me ask you a question, Gatorade manufacturer. Where does your sodium come from? The time for a commercial break. See, they don't tell you that. And you're eating, consuming these chemicals. So when you look at these food dyes, if it's not natural, don't buy it. Well, how do I know if it's not natural? I can fool you right now and say, for instance, how many has ever seen a blow pop?
Yeah.
Do you remember the commercial about the Tootsie
3
Roll? How many does it take to
Right.
get you the chemical? Okay, first of all, the blow pop, you shouldn't be licking on no way.
That's how you. That's how you.
Let me say that correctly so nobody gets it wrong and so nobody gets kind of crazy with that.
Wrong direction.
Okay.
Here you go. Here you go.
Back in my day, there was a pop that was called a blow pop. It had the candy around, and inside it had the little chocolate, the gum. Okay, around the blow pop, those are chemicals. And they have sugar, high fructose corn syrup, not to mention the food dyes that give it the color. You got grape pop, pink pop, or whatever. That's not fruit. Those are chemicals. So while you're licking that, your body is consuming these toxins. Now, it's in minute particles, so it doesn't take effect right away. But the more you consume that, it builds up in your bloodstream. So we have a fancy way of saying, listen, you can continue to consume and chew and bite and make the bubble with the blow pop as long as the parts per million doesn't exceed this level. But they ain't telling you what the parts per million are. So we've all, when I used to live in the Jets, the hood. I come from Pruitt, I go.
Oh yeah.
Now, don't let me tell you about what's happening down there. That's another. Well, I will tell you. So we used to consume, our number one staple of food to survive was now laters,
Yeah.
blow pop. What's the other thing? Lemon heads, Chico
Boston
sticks,
baked
and my
beans.
sister, who was crazy as a jaybird, she had to buy her a pickle and put a peppermint stick in the middle of it.
That's right. That's
I
right.
think she was from another land. She had to be adopted. I don't know. That ain't human. But that's what we lived off of. But we were consuming these chemicals. And later on in life, we come down with diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, renal issues, and blessed and behold, it was a decade ago to this date, it was brought to light that all the residents, I'm off my subject, but actually I'm on my subject, all the residents who lived in the Pruitt-Igoe vicinity were used as test subjects. Did you know about that?
Yeah.
You know about, yes. You know about the class action suit? Yes. So those people who lived during that time, generation, they're dead. So their descendants are still there, but they can't do anything. What does it have to do? We're talking about.
This boy got some.
You're consuming pesticide.
This boy got some.
Some hand sanitizer.
Okay.
He's all in
Need
your
some-
hand.
need some
Okay.
butt-
Okay.
Okay, what
Yeah,
is
they go far. Let's bring it on right now. So you need to be aware of what the environment, what you're drinking, what you're breathing, what you're eating, what you're living. And if you're exposed, that doesn't mean it's done deal, stick a fork in and you're done. It means that from that day forward, you make some lifestyle changes. This incredible body will reverse issues, but you got to cooperate with it. And that's where we have the bereft of knowledge. We don't know what to do. All I know to do is go to the doctor who's going to give me a drug to help the drug. That makes no sense. But teach me how my body can heal itself and cooperate with my body, then I won't need to come to the doctor. And that's it. So one more chemical. Any of y'all eat grapes?
Yeah. Candy grapes, everything.
Okay.
I had some
When you
earlier,
purchase
man.
your grapes, how did they come?
In the bag.
And
On the vine.
Yes.
vine.
Ooh, man, they been in a bag, plastic bag. Now, you don't got to tell me the store where you buy it from, but I would bet you a dime to a dollar if you read the bottom of that thing, it's going to say it has sulfur dioxide on it to keep it from doing what?
Going back.
We go grapes in Missouri, right?
Yep.
No.
You go grapes in Missouri?
To make wine.
We got here.
To make wine.
We don't go grapes in Missouri. They're imported here.
What?
They're brought here. We don't go
Even
grapes.
from the
We
winery?
don't have a.
Yeah.
Well, the wineries, they don't sell them, though.
Well, no, those aren't the same kind of grapes.
No. The reason I'm saying that
Grape
is
wine
when you
is
buy
different from the other wine.
is when you buy the grapes, what keeps them from being attacked by a fungus and becoming rancid? They spray them with sulfur
Pesticide.
dioxide. It's a pesticide, and that's it says sulfur dioxide. So whenever you buy grapes in the bag, please don't hesitate to read the small print, and it'll say sulfur dioxide. Listen to this. Sulfur dioxide used as a preservative in beer, soft drink, dried fruit, juices, cardinals, wine, vinegar, and potatoes and products. Sulfur dioxide is an additive which is toxic. Adverse reactions include bronchial problem. Why do some of our folks have asthma? I enjoy the grape, now I can't breathe. Asthma, hypotension, low blood pressure, flushing, tingling sensation, or anaphylactic shock. It also destroys vitamin B1 and E in the body. It's not recommended for consumption, especially in children. So we eat stuff without reading what we eat. And that's why we got all these illnesses. That's why I shouldn't say that. That's why our major hospitals love us.
So I got a question about
yes.
what's the best way to clean your fruit? Like,
excellent question. One of the many ways, now you can go to some of our major stores. There's two really. One is called Something Foods, and the other one's called Joe's. You know what I'm talking about? You can buy. I'm not giving you all the plug because you ain't giving me no discount. So what happens is you can buy cleansers and utensils just to cleanse your food. So what they're saying is buy your apple and take it home and scrub it. Give me $5 for the brush. Are you serious? You can soak your apples or your fruit and clean them. Or you don't got to soak them out. Just wash them good. Because what's the tricky part is this. I can say, for instance, we all like apples, correct? Mm-hmm. So when you buy your apples, you know your apples have pesticide on them. So what do? You wash the apple, right? Rinse it off.
Mm-hmm.
Rinse it off.
Rinse it off. That's all. We don't wash. We rinse it.
We rinse it off. Like you retch around and get me that.
There you go.
So
that's right. That's
now,
right.
are you really washing the pesticide off the apple?
No.
Why not? It's in the skin. It's in the skin.
Oh, here you go.
The vitamins in
here
the
we are.
skin.
Y'all can throw your apples out the house. No. Beloved, do the simple experiment when you go to the grocery or wherever you get your apples.
Uh-oh.
Do you all drive?
Yeah.
So you have cars, right?
Yeah.
After you wash your car, what do you now most times do?
What?
You took all the
Did
stuff
you know
off.
the ingredients in wax is called carnauba?
Yeah, right.
Which gives it that waxy, that's on your apples. Don't take my word. When you go to the grocery, take your fingernail and scrape down apple. You'll get
I did
carnauba
that
wax.
before.
So that means don't take your apple home and then what? Bite it because you're eating carnauba. Is carnauba wax toxic? Not necessarily, but it can cause some problems later on. The point that I'm saying is if you scrub that off, you're going to scrub off all the pectin in the apple. What's the point of doing that? Are you going to peel? Who's going to go peel the apples all the time? Come on now. So what do? Did you know you can soak your apples in bleach?
Dang, man.
like bleach you buy from the
Clorox?
Clorox, sure. Just let it soak for about 5 or 10 minutes, take it out, wash it off, and it's good. The same bleach that makes water potable, you can drink bad water bleach.
Same
thing.
bleach that we used to wash our greens.
Same thing. You can do that. But if you don't want to go through that, you're just going to go and eat it, but make sure you're eating properly, too, to help detox. Did you know that you can download, those who have smartphones, you can download on your app, it's called the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. Did you know that? It's called the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. And what happens is they'll tell you the 15 fruits and vegetables that all have pesticide, and all of us eat them, including myself. Grapes are one of them. And then you have the ones that are clean. Some are unclean. They're saying those that have pesticide. You can go to your Google store, you got an Android, or you can go whatever your iPhone, and just put in that Clean 15, and you'll be amazed.
These are two separate apps.
No, it's the same.
What about apple cider vinegar?
Apple cider vinegar is excellent for medicinal purposes. Some people can drink it.
I'm talking about washing your fruit.
You can use the apple cider vinegar for that too. Now, understand what apple cider vinegar is, because the name tells you what it is. It's apple. Comes from what?
Apples.
What's the vinegar? What's vinegar? Let's do some chemistry. What's vinegar?
It's not vagina. It's the
Who?
bus.
What did you just say?
The part.
What did you just say?
That was my guess. I don't know.
The views expressed by that brother didn't come from Dr. Lawrence. Okay.
It ain't the V.
Let me
That vinegar potent.
Well,
Vinegar. Thinking about the bottle on the back of the
That big red.
I need a drink out of that. Okay,
bathroom
vinegar. Let me. You all know the answer to this. Have you ever eaten a pickle?
Yes.
What is a pickle?
Sideways.
Pickle is a cucumber soaked in vinegar.
No. A pickle is not